Hi, I'm Enzo, your life coach from Bevolution, the channel that helps you improve the quality of your life. Why we don't take action? How many times we have gone through this period in which just we cannot manage to take action. We cannot manage, for instance, to go to the gym, to do the things that we promised our friends since long. In this video, we try to explain the reasons at the base of this behavior and how we can improve the situation. Enjoy!
We often feel stuck, apathetic, lazy, unmotivated, incapable of starting any task that could potentially have a positive impact on our life. When we manage to start an activity, sometimes we don't manage to finish and we fall back into missing action. We think that we should start that diet, start going to the gym, reading that book, learn that foreign language, but we actually never take action. Sometimes, by pure strength of will, we manage to do the first step. Sometimes we start our first gym session, we do our first day of diet, we read the first pages of a book, but then we stop and we don't start again. This is not an ideal situation. When you are not taking action, your life begins to feel like it's limited. It's like there were invisible walls all around you. It feels like it's becoming more little, like shrinking. You notice that you are not going out like you used to do, you feel tired, you cannot focus properly on most of the things, and at the end of the day you start feeling the life has less meaning. You feel like you are weaker every day. In order to understand why we don't take action, we have to understand the causal connection between various stages of your thoughts and actions. What we do comes from what we feel, and what we feel comes from how we think. Thoughts generate feelings that generate actions that, in turn, generate results. Every time you notice that you are not taking action and you don't understand why, one first step to take in order to go towards a solution is to understand how you feel. In order to do something that really changes our life or at least improve it, these three rings of the chain must be well linked together, they must function like a well-greased gear. If only one of those three parts is broken, the process doesn't work and you don't manage to reach your result you want. It's because this chain, thoughts, feelings, actions, is not working properly. Step 1. Changing your thoughts. The first step is observing your thoughts. This is not easy, because the thoughts are what constitute us in the first place. What we live every day, what we experience, our seeing the word, our talking to other people, and all the infinite things of which we are aware in our daily life, are processed by our thoughts. So how we can observe our thoughts? We have two ways. The first way is meditation. It's a state of mind that does not involve thinking, a state of mind of total mental void where we open our mind to the pure, distant, uninfluenced observation of the world. Of course, this requires training and exercise. When you learn, through meditation, to create the silence inside yourself, that space where there is no past and no future, where no contingent thought comes to spoil the moment, then you learn to give space to the joy that flows naturally from our inner soul. The joy is our natural state. It's pure, regenerating. You are born again every time you do real meditation. It rises your consciousness to the next level. This allows to understand what drives your thoughts, and how much negative thoughts we make every day and how much this dries up our power and prevent us to change. The second way is to seek the help of a coach. Through a non-judgmental approach, letting you follow the flux of your thoughts and asking you exploratory questions, the coach helps you focus on what are your inner beliefs, your values, and what prevents you from your goal. An example of thinking is, I would like to start this enterprise, but I think that if I start it, I will fail. However, by getting deeper in this thinking with the help of a coach, we discover that actually it does not come from an objective observation of the reality, but from a way of thinking that has been installed in us since we were children. By becoming aware of this line of thinking, we can control it and change for the better. Step 2. Understanding our feelings. Once you have started to have a better comprehension of your thoughts, you can really start changing your feelings. How many people try to change the feelings without changing the thoughts that are at the base of these feelings? But now you know why you're having this feeling, and so you have a better chance to change it. An example of this change is when a man is constantly having discussions with his wife and feels frustrated about it. He feels like he is not being understood. However, by talking to a coach, he discovers that he is being too perfectionist and following blindly the route to success without considering her needs, so he's actually been the one causing every single argument, and that in order to keep his marriage, he must stop being such an aggressive person. It's a kind of epiphany. A sudden, intuitive perception of or insight into the reality or essential meaning of something. And this allows the person to do the next step, to take action. Only when you have changed your thoughts and the consequent feelings, you will be able to really take action. It will be an action that is not useless, like all the actions we made in the past. It will be, instead, an action finalized to really improve your life, because it will go towards what you really want, because it is aligned with your true values. Maybe there will be difficulties along the path, obstacles, falls, but in the end you will get up, go ahead, and will realize that your life, this time, is really going to change.
I hope you enjoyed the video and got some wonderful tips on how to take action. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We publish every week new episodes that help you improve your life.